What's up, guys? It's JJ, and welcome back to another episode of Victory Lane. So, today we got a lot to talk about. Our main focus of today is going to be, of course, on the Kansas race that we just had yesterday. It was a very good race. I'll give you my thoughts in just a second. But the first thing I wanted to jump into and just kind of mention real quick, the reports are it's looking more and more likely that Kyle Busch will be joining RCR next season. So we'll see. I'm not going to make a full video on it just yet because, it's still a report. It's not being confirmed by anybody. But as soon as it is, we'll have another video. I'll try to even get it out, even if it's not on a scheduled Victory Lane episode day. But yeah, so that's something to keep being on the lookout for. It's sounding like it's going to be very soon. It sounds like he knows where he's going. It's just getting the legal stuff and getting it ready for an official announcement. But yes, it is seeming more likely that he'll be at RCR next season. But let's get on to the stuff that we do know, and that is yesterday's race at Kansas. All in all, it was a pretty good race. Kansas is a great track that does, technically you can run multiple grooves. The high side is technically the best. You can go to the middle, and you can even at times make up some time at the bottom. But, it's still, all day today, it was very hard to pass. Track position was really key. If your car was just that much better than the person in front of you can eventually make the pass after a few laps. But if you had an equal car, even just a little bit better car, most of the time it was really tough to get around guys. And that's what we saw today. But let's start it off. First stage, the race finally gets underway on time. Didn't have a delay, so that was nice, unlike last week. But first stage, really, I expected the Toyotas to be dominant all day. And really, at the beginning, they weren't the dominant dominant team. They had... Sorry for the interruption of other people in this, but they had a really good, they were good all day, but really it was Hendrick that dominated the first and second stage. William Byron was up there, Alex Bowman was. So, yeah, those guys were the big players. Kevin Harvick ended up hitting the wall. Ross Chastain and Bubba Wallace were battling they were almost three wide, but Kevin kind of backed off going into the corner. But once Chastain and Bubba kind of came up the track, did Chastain push up a little bit? Yes. Bubba also pushed up a little bit. I think it was a racing deal. I wouldn't say this is another Chastain wrecked car. But, yes, when they crossed over in front of Kevin Harvick, he said that he just lost the front of the car, so hit the wall really hard. And that was his day done. So now for Kevin Harvick, looking at advancing into the round of 12, he basically has to win at Bristol, which he can do. He was very close to winning this race last year. We all know how that ended. Kevin Harvick was then out. And then I forgot to mention, early in the race was actually dominated mainly by Tyler Reddick. He started on pole and, basically dominated most of the first stage until he just cut a tire, hit the wall, and that was it for him as well. So, that's two playoff drivers that were out of the race early. Basically several playoff guys had a penalty or something go wrong at some point. They named off a list on the broadcast. I wish I would have kind of wrote it down, but I didn't. But it was, I think, up to like 10, 11 playoff guys either had some sort of penalty or in stage two. We'll move on to stage two. Then stage two, Kyle Busch spins out and ends up, basically that was his day done technically, but he was able to get back in the, he was still able to compete in the race, but as far as being actually competitive like he was in the first stage, he was up toward he and Christopher Bell at the beginning of the race were the best two Toyotas up at the front. He was not able to really compete in any way after that spin. we go back to racing after the restart with from stage 3, and it just really, I think most of stage 3 went green. All of stage 3 might have gone green, honestly. Alex Bowman at this point has dominated the race. He led over 100 laps in this race, the most he's led all season. He won stage 2, I forgot to mention that. So, yeah, he looked like the car to beat and jumped out to a pretty good, I think 2-3 second lead. But with around 70 laps to go, Bubba Wallace was able to catch him and pass him. I mean, fairly easy. That was one of the easiest passes for the lead we saw all day. And, Bubba really never even looked back after that. He ended up holding off everybody in the rest of the field. He just really drove away. And like I said, it was hard to pass, especially when a really good car was out in front. So that was also very challenging, but nobody ever really got back to him. Green flag pit stops came, and he stretched his lead out even more when green flag picks during the green flag pit cycle. So they showed a time, and Bubba's time entering and exiting pit road, his actual driver time on pit road was great compared to almost everybody else's. So that was a great job by Bubba. And so Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell both were able to kind of, it looked like maybe one of them would catch him. I think the closest Denny got was to 1 second, and then started falling back again. And, Bubba Wallace was then able to win this race at Kansas, his second win of his career, his first outright win that wasn't won by rain. So, yeah, congratulations to Bubba in 2311. The 45 car has won both races at Kansas this year. Technically, if you remember, Kurt Busch was the one that won at Kansas in the spring. And now Bubba Wallace in that 45 car wins the second race here at Kansas for the season. So, going into next week, a cutoff race weekend at Bristol. So, there's no telling what could happen. Let's look at how the points are shaken up. Christopher Bell has actually locked himself into the next round already, even without a win. So, yeah, I didn't even mention that. That's the 18th different winner on the season. And so, we didn't even... nobody has been locked in by winning so far in this round. But like I said, due to points, Christopher Bell has run great the past 2 weekends. He's really looking like the strongest Gibbs car at this moment. I think this is what we expected from Christopher Bell when he came up. This is the first year he's really been able to put it together. But he's 58 points to the good, so he is actually locked in for next week. William Byron is behind him at 48 points to the good. Denny Hamlin is 47 points in. Joey Logano is 40 points in. Ryan Blaney is 36 points in. Alex Bowman is 30 points in. Chase Elliott had a really good day on points. He might not have run toward the front, but I want to say he got stage points in both stages. And he finished in 11th. So, really good day for him. I forgot to tell you all the top 10. We'll go back and do that after we go through the points. Kyle Larson is 27 points to the good, and Ross Chastain is 26 points to the good. So, all of those guys, really 1 through 9, I feel pretty confident in them moving on and advancing out of this round at this point with their points gap right now. This is really where I think we could see shuffling. Daniel Suarez is only 6 points to the good. And then we've got Tyler Reddick, who did not run well today, as we said, blew a tire and was out of the race. Tyler Reddick and Austin Cindric are both only 2 points to the good. So the bubble's really from Daniel Suarez down. Kyle Busch, who did not have a good day, is actually 2 points out at the moment. Austin Dillon is only 3 points out. Chase Briscoe is only 9 points out. And then Kevin Harvick, like we said, is pretty much in a must-win situation at 35 points out. Don't see a way he gets in on points. Chase Briscoe probably needs to win as well. So, yeah, the bubble's really shaping up pretty well. We'll have kind of my thoughts on what the race will be like come next Saturday night. I'll have more thoughts on that in Thursday's episode. But yeah, so as we close out this race recap episode, let's go through the top 10 and then some other notable playoff drivers' finishes for today. So we got Bubba Wallace, of course, winning. Denny Hamlin finished in second, and Christopher Bell ended up third. Joe Gibbs, like I said, Toyotas did end up dominating the race, basically. By the end, they weren't necessarily the strongest team for most of the day, but in that last 70 laps, those three were easily the best cars out there. Alex Bowman had a really good day, finished fourth. Martin Truex Jr. finished fifth. William Byron, another really good day for him, in sixth. Ross Chastain in seventh. Kyle Larson finished eighth. Ryan Blaney ninth. Daniel Suarez 10th. Chase Elliott 11th. Austin Cindric finished in 12th. Chase Briscoe was in 13th, and Austin Dillon was in 14th. Some more playoff drivers. Joey Logano finished in 17th. And then, of course, like we said, Kyle Busch was not very much in contention the rest of the race. After he spun, he ended up finishing in 26th. And then Tyler Reddick and Kevin Harvick both finished in 35th and 36th in last place and second to last place. So get ready for Bristol cutoff race. It's going to be a great race. Really excited. I always love Bristol races. So hopefully we get a good race. I think we will. But yeah, we'll see y'all Thursday for another Victory Lane kind of previewing next weekend at Bristol. See y'all then.